Every onion farmer knows this painful truth. Your crop can make or break your entire season based on how you water it. Onions might seem tough on the outside, but they're actually one of the thirstiest vegetables you can grow. The difference between a mediocre harvest and a bumper crop often comes down to getting your irrigation strategy right. Too little water and your onions stay small and bitter. Too much water and you're looking at root rot, disease, and bulbs that won't store well. But here's the exciting part. When you nail the perfect irrigation balance, you're not just growing bigger onions, you're dramatically boosting your profits while using less water than you ever thought possible. We've split this guide into 4 simple parts to make it easy for you. In the first part, we discuss why efficient irrigation matters for onion crops and how it directly impacts your bottom line. In the second part, we explore the best irrigation options based on different farming levels, from small-scale operations to commercial farms. In the third part, we lay out a practical irrigation plan you can implement immediately. And in the final part, we share an inspiring case study showing how one farmer increased their yields by 40% just by enhancing their watering strategy. Part 1. Why efficient irrigation matters for onion crops. Let's start with a simple fact that will change how you think about onion farming forever. Onions need approximately 20 to 25 inches of water throughout their growing season. But here's the catch. They need it delivered at exactly the right times and in precisely the right amounts. Most farmers either flood their fields or cross their fingers and hope for rain. But both approaches are costing you serious money. Think about onion growth like building a house. You need a strong foundation during the early growth phase, steady construction during bulb development, and careful finishing touches during maturity. Water is your construction material, and timing is everything. During the first 60 days after planting, onions develop their root system and leaf structure. This is when consistent moisture is absolutely critical. Give them too little water here, and you'll have weak plants that can't support large bulbs later. Give them too much, and you'll encourage shallow root development that makes plants vulnerable to drought stress. The magic happens during bulb formation, typically between day 60 and day 120. This is when your irrigation strategy can literally double your profits. Onions store energy in their bulbs during this phase, and consistent soil moisture encourages larger, higher quality bulbs. But here's where most farmers make expensive mistakes. They either maintain the same watering schedule throughout the season, or they panic and overwater when they see any signs of stress. Water stress during bulb formation doesn't just reduce size, it affects storage quality too. Stressed onions develop thicker necks, multiple centers, and higher water content that leads to shorter shelf life. If you're selling to processors or storing onions for later sale, poor irrigation practices can cost you premium prices and long-term contracts. Part 2. Best irrigation options based on farming levels. Small-scale farmers working with 1 to 5 acres have different needs than commercial operations managing hundreds of acres. Let's break down the best irrigation methods for each level, focusing on return on investment and water efficiency. For small-scale farmers, drip irrigation represents the sweet spot between cost and efficiency. A basic drip system for onions costs approximately $1,500 to $2,000 per acre to install, but it pays for itself within 2 seasons through water savings and increased yields. Drip irrigation delivers water directly to the root zone, reducing evaporation losses by up to 50% compared to overhead sprinklers. You can automate the system with simple timers, making it perfect for farmers managing multiple responsibilities. Medium-scale operations farming 5 to 50 acres should consider micro-sprinkler systems or upgraded drip systems with fertigation capabilities. Micro-sprinklers cost slightly more upfront, but offer better coverage for onions' shallow root system. The real advantage comes from combining irrigation with fertilizer application. Instead of broadcasting fertilizer and hoping it reaches the roots, fertigation delivers nutrients directly where plants need them most. This approach typically increases fertilizer efficiency by 30 to 40% while reducing labor costs. Large commercial operations have the luxury of choosing from advanced systems like center pivot irrigation with variable rate technology or subsurface drip irrigation. Center pivot systems work well for onions if you manage them correctly, but they require careful attention to application rates and timing. The key is using low-pressure nozzles and avoiding irrigation during windy conditions to minimize water loss. Subsurface drip irrigation represents the cutting edge for onion production. Lines are buried 12 to 18 inches deep, delivering water directly to the root zone while keeping the soil surface dry. This reduces weed pressure, eliminates evaporation losses, and prevents many foliar diseases. Installation costs are higher, but water savings of 40 to 60% make it attractive for areas with expensive water or strict usage regulations. Part 3. A practical irrigation plan you can implement. Creating an effective irrigation schedule starts with understanding your soil and climate conditions. Most onions grow best in well-drained soils with good water-holding capacity, but you need to adjust your irrigation frequency based on your specific situation. Week 1 through 8 after planting requires frequent light irrigations to maintain consistent soil moisture without waterlogging. Apply approximately ½ inch of water twice per week, adjusting based on rainfall and soil type. Sandy soils need more frequent applications, while clay soils can handle longer intervals between irrigations. The goal is keeping the top 4 inches of soil consistently moist but not saturated. Week 9 through 16 marks the critical bulb development phase where your irrigation strategy directly impacts final yields. Increase application amounts to 3/4 of an inch per week, but reduce frequency to encourage deeper root development. This is when soil moisture monitoring becomes essential. Install simple soil moisture sensors at 6 and 12-inch depths to guide your irrigation decisions. When sensors show moisture dropping to 60% of field capacity, it's time to irrigate. Week 17 through maturity requires the most careful water management. Begin reducing irrigation frequency and amounts as harvest approaches. Stop irrigating completely 2 to 3 weeks before harvest to allow proper curing and prevent storage problems. Many farmers make the mistake of continuing regular irrigation schedules right up to harvest, resulting in onions with high water content that don't store well. Temperature and humidity also influence irrigation timing. Irrigate during early morning hours when possible to minimize evaporation losses and reduce disease pressure. Avoid irrigating during the hottest part of the day or late evening when prolonged leaf wetness can encourage fungal problems. Monitor your onions for signs of water stress throughout the growing season. Properly irrigated onions maintain dark green foliage and steady growth rates. Water-stressed plants develop blue-green coloration and slower growth, while overwatered plants often show yellowing and soft growth that's vulnerable to disease. Part 4. Case Study. 40% yield. Increase through smart irrigation. Meet Sarah Johnson from Oregon, who was losing money on her 80-acre onion farm due to wasteful furrow irrigation and inconsistent yields. Her water bills were skyrocketing while her onion quality remained unpredictable, making it impossible to secure premium contracts with buyers. Sarah made 3 simple but powerful changes. First, she installed basic soil moisture sensors instead of guessing when to irrigate. Second, she switched to drip irrigation with fertigation capabilities. Third, she created irrigation zones based on her soil types rather than watering everything the same way. The results speak for themselves. Sarah cut her water usage by 35% while boosting her average yield from 450 bags per acre to over 600 bags. Her irrigation costs dropped 22%, and she started earning premium prices for consistent, high-quality onions that stored better. The key lesson from Sarah's success is simple. Precision beats guesswork every time. By treating irrigation as a management tool rather than a chore, she transformed her struggling operation into a profitable, sustainable business that processors compete to buy from. Smart irrigation isn't just about saving water or increasing yields in isolation. It's about creating a sustainable farming system that delivers consistent profits while protecting natural resources for future generations. Whether you're managing 5 acres or 500, The principles remain the same. Understand your crop's needs, monitor soil conditions, and deliver water precisely when and where it's needed most. Your next onion harvest could be your most profitable yet, but only if you take action now. Start by choosing one irrigation improvement from today's video and implement it this growing season. If this guide helped you see new possibilities for your farm, hit that like button and subscribe for more proven farming strategies that put money back in your pocket. Drop a comment below sharing your biggest irrigation challenge. I read every single one, and your question might become our next video topic. Remember, every successful farmer started with a single step toward better practices, and today that step could be perfecting your onion irrigation system.